Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into something that could seriously affect your taxes, your healthcare, and yes, even your Social Security. President Trump's brand new proposal, which he's calling the One Big Beautiful Bill, has just made it through the House. Now it's up against some major hurdles in the Senate. What makes this bill such a big deal is that it's not just about tax cuts. It also includes changes to Medicaid, updates to benefit program rules, and even some quiet but meaningful shifts that could change how Social Security works for millions of Americans in the years ahead. And here's something most people don't realize. This bill is over 1,000 pages long. Hidden inside are rules that could tie Social Security payments to new work and reporting requirements, especially for people who also receive Medicaid or food assistance. That might sound technical, but it could have real-life consequences for folks who count on those monthly checks just to get by. So if you're wondering how this could impact your benefits or what it means for your family's financial future, you're in the right place. Stick around because what's going on in Congress right now could reshape how Social Security and other programs operate, and you deserve to know exactly how it could affect you. Before we jump in, take a second to leave a comment. What's worrying you most right now? Is it your Social Security income, rising healthcare costs, or increasing taxes? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you're new here, or just haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that button so you stay in the loop on all the latest updates. Right at the center of this is President Trump's massive new proposal, the One Big Beautiful Bill. It combines permanent tax cuts, government spending changes, and new requirements for people on benefit programs like Medicaid and SNAP. The House has already passed it, but just barely by a single vote. Now it's the Senate's turn, and this is where things get tricky. Even though Republicans control the Senate, it only takes 3 senators breaking ranks to bring the whole thing down. And already, a few are speaking out. Some are raising concerns about the cost, others about the impact on their states. And here's the big issue. This bill could add over $3 trillion to the national debt in the next 10 years. That's no small number. Now look, tax cuts sound great. Who doesn't want to keep more of their paycheck, right? But the reality is that most of the savings go to top business owners and high-income earners. They're the ones benefiting most from deductions on pass-through income, capital gains, and even tip earnings. There are some breaks for everyday Americans, but they're smaller and they fade out over time. And there's a catch with one of the bill's more popular pieces, the child tax credit. The House plan would raise it from $2,000 to $20,500 through 2028. That's definitely helpful for families with young kids, especially with inflation biting into every dollar. But here's the thing, that increase isn't permanent. Some senators like J.D. Vance and Josh Hawley are pushing for a more generous version that sticks around longer, so that part of the bill is still very much up in the air. Another hot-button item is the SALT deduction, short for state and local taxes. Right now there's a cap on how much people can deduct. The House wants to raise that cap to $40,000, which helps folks in high-tax states like New York and California. But senators from low-tax states aren't too happy about it. Some want to shrink it back down or even get rid of it entirely. If that happens, the House might refuse to pass the bill again, so we're looking at a very delicate balance. But where things really hit home for many Americans is with Medicaid. This bill proposes a cut of $625 billion to Medicaid and adds work requirements for adults aged 19 to 64 who don't have kids. Basically, people would need to work, volunteer, or attend job training for at least 80 hours a month to qualify. Now on paper, that might sound reasonable, but the real-world picture is a lot messier. Studies show that most Medicaid recipients are already working, caring for loved ones, or facing health challenges that make regular work tough. What's more, the paperwork and tracking systems needed to prove eligibility can be incredibly confusing. Often people lose their benefits not because they're unwilling to work, but because they missed a form, their hours changed, or something got flagged in the system. One senator put it perfectly. People don't lose coverage because they're unwilling to work. They lose it because they missed a form, or their hours changed, or the system flagged something wrong. And if you've ever tried to call your local benefits office or navigate one of those online portals, you already know how frustrating that can be. This is where Social Security comes back into focus. For people who are retired or on disability but also get Medicaid, these stricter rules mean more red tape and more chances to get flagged for overpayments or even disqualification. Already, over 1 million people are being told to repay Social Security benefits because of errors or miscommunications, and this bill could make that situation even worse. And let's be real, it's not just a policy issue, it's deeply emotional. I've heard from folks who are scared to even answer the phone, terrified that someone might tell them they owe thousands of dollars they had no idea about. That's real, and it's heartbreaking. So where do we go from here? Some senators are calling to remove the Medicaid and Social Security-related changes from the bill entirely. They believe the focus should stay on tax policy. Others argue it's all connected. Cutting taxes means cutting spending, and that money has to come from somewhere. And just to add another layer, this bill also targets clean energy. It rolls back many of the tax credits from President Biden's Inflation Reduction Act, especially those tied to electric vehicles and renewable energy. To some Republicans, that's a win. They say those credits distort the market. But others, especially from states with large clean energy investments, warn it could lead to job losses and stranded costs for companies. Meanwhile, economists are raising red flags about the bigger picture. The U.S. debt is already hovering around 100% of GDP. If this bill passes as is, projections show it climbing to 125% within a decade. That could mean higher interest rates, more expensive borrowing, and less room for the government to respond in future crises. One economist summed it up like this: if we borrow too much now, we might not be able to borrow later, when we actually need to. That's a serious risk, and investors seem to be taking notice. Bond yields are going up. The dollar is weakening. That combination doesn't happen often, and it usually signals that markets are uneasy with how the country's managing its finances. Just pausing for a second to share something important. We've partnered with Chapter, a service we fully trust to give you honest, clear Medicare guidance. They'll connect you with a licensed advisor, compare every plan in your area, and help you save money. Most people save around $100 a year. It's totally free, and their support team is there for you even after you sign up. Call 615-639-1937 or visit askchapter.org/money using the link in the comments. Now let's keep going. Even if this all feels overwhelming, there's still time to influence what happens next. The Senate is already making changes, and every senator who speaks out, whether in favor or against, is responding to what they're hearing from voters. That means your voice still matters. Watch closely. The July 4th deadline isn't just symbolic, it's being used to create urgency. But we've still got a few weeks where the final shape of this bill could shift. We'll soon find out if the work requirement rules stay in, if the child tax credit gets expanded, and whether anything shifts with Social Security policy. There's also a procedural fight brewing. Senate Democrats are challenging whether this bill can even be passed with a simple majority. If they win, Republicans could be forced to head back to the drawing board. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which part of this hits home the most for you? Is it the Medicaid cuts, the Social Security issues, or the tax policy changes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next update.